For over a century, Nebraska's been the land of opportunity for newcomers. For years, we have used income tax abatement as our main tool to incentivize companies to come to Nebraska. This has yielded many success stories and thousands of good, well-paying careers for hardworking Nebraskans. But going forward, we must make sure we are not giving our topsoil away. By giving incentives to foreign companies who view Nebraska merely as a conduit for cheap electricity, free water, and cheap labor. We must align our economic incentives to strengthen not only value adding new businesses, but also Nebraska-owned, Nebraska-led businesses which have been building our economy for generations. That is why I'm working with Senator Linehan to reform our current incentive package to make Nebraska's incentives competitive in the manufacturing sector for Nebraska-grown companies. While we want to create and incentivize great careers in Nebraska, we must focus more on recruiting people to the good life. We must retool our incentives to be people-focused. One priority brought by Senator Brewer will be strengthening the ranks of our great Nebraska National Guard by exempting its members from state income tax. While significant, this is the least we can do to honor them for all they do for our state and our nation. Thank you, Colonel Brewer. Thank you for your own service and your commitment to the armed services. Thank you, Colonel Brewer. We will incentivize new Nebraskans to join our private workforce too. Senator Ballard has introduced an innovative bill that will give Nebraska businesses credit for bringing new residents to our state. Passing this bill will be another investment into our workforce. But we must recognize that investing in the 21st century workforce is far different than what we've ever done before. No longer can we focus on tax breaks on companies that are takers, not givers, and do not share our values. With input from our working group that focused on workforce development over the past 6 months, we've come forward with proposals in childcare, early childhood education, housing, and general education. I partnered with Senator Bostar in legislation to create a micro-center network. This will allow local communities and businesses to get creative with existing space and resources to meet their child care needs. To build the housing we need for our workforce, we should invest an additional $25 million into the World Workforce Housing Fund. Thank you. All across rural Nebraska, the demand for workforce housing is so great that the homes are sold before the doors are even hung. But it's just not a rural issue. Housing affordability and availability is an incredible issue in our metropolitan communities as well. Part of the shared problem is local over-regulation of affordable housing. That's why I'm partnering with Senator Lowe on lowering the regulatory burden for affordable housing. A recent UNO study showed that regulation as a component of construction is over $40,000 higher here in Nebraska than the national average. Simply makes no sense and unacceptable. We must cut the red tape out and make our homes more affordable in Nebraska. I'm partnering with Senator Waltz to break down the barriers for potential teachers to enter the workforce. I ask this question all the time. I'd like us all to think about it. Who are the top 3 people that impacted your life the most? I guarantee when we take the time to think about it, all 49 of us will answer one of the 3 is a teacher or a coach. And I tell you what, if someone would have told me that, or I would have known and understood that impact, I would have been a coach. It is one of society's most important professors impacting our young people. That is why we must allow for reciprocity of teachers coming from another state and simplify how to apply for and receive teaching certificates. Teaching shortage is a crisis. That way, more Nebraskans can easily choose this honorable profession. Finally, I'm working with Senator Linehan to change our incentive credits to direct them toward housing, childcare, and early childhood education for Nebraska. Outside the building, the state government must do more collectively to allow our institutions of higher education to meet the workforce needs of tomorrow. I look forward to partnering with our University of Nebraska, our state college system, and community college system to launch the One Nebraska initiative. The goal will be to eliminate endless duplication and inefficient competition between our state-funded schools, along with finally harmonizing and strengthening our Regents Scholarship Program. We will make sure that our higher education keeps our best and brightest here and trains them to lead Nebraska into the future. These efforts will stop the brain drain, will welcome new Nebraskans, and will help businesses, ranchers, and farmers thrive. And speaking of attracting people to Nebraska, it's really, really tough to do with this slogan that says, Nebraska, not for everyone. Are you kidding me? We must bring our economic development, our people recruitment, and our tourism promotion work back under the same leadership so that they can be better coordinated and run at less administrative expense to the taxpayers. Senator McDonald has a carryover bill from last session that would correct a decade-old mistake of separating tourism from economic development. I urge you to pass this bill so we can again tell the world the good life is here in Nebraska for everyone.